Quick video how to show you guys how to read the micrometer. So this is a Pittsburgh set, right? 3-piece micrometer, 0 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3. It's all right here. This one's $60, you know, pretty cheap. The accuracy, it's only accurate to 1/1000th of an inch, so it's gonna be accurate, but not accurate enough to measure things like on a crankshaft journal. All right, so we got the micrometer right here, right? 1 to 2 inches. So the few parts on the micrometer here is gonna be the ratchet, the thimble scale. You got the main scale right here, which I'll show you guys in a bit. You got your vernier scale, and then you have your locking nut, the frame, you got your anvil, and then you got your spindle, and then the measuring faces right here, right? So that's pretty much it. Pretty simple. So it's locked right now, unlocked, locked, unlocked. So right now on the main scale, right? So that right now, how I had it, it's measuring 0, right? So if I go ahead and unlock it, you're gonna start seeing that there's lines on the thimble scale and there's lines on the main scale. So on the actual thimble scale, sorry, each of these lines here are 1/1000th of an inch, which is 0.001, right? 1/1000th of an inch. So if I move this thimble scale, that's 1/1000th, 2/1000ths, 3/1000ths, 4/1000ths, 5/1000ths, right? Hence why the 5 is right here. So if I spin it another 5, 10/1000ths of an inch, spin it another 5, 15/1000ths of an inch, spin it another 5, 20/1000ths of an inch, and spin it another 5, goes back to 0, but it's actually 25/1000ths of an inch. And if you look closely, I'm gonna zoom in here for you guys, right? If you look closely right here, at that 25/1000ths of an inch, which would be 0.025, right? 25/1000ths of an inch, you start seeing that line right there. And this line right here, right? You see that line right there? That line is 25/1000ths of an inch. So each of these lines right here on this main scale right here, each of these lines are 25/1000ths of an inch. So that's 25/1000ths of an inch, 50/1000ths of an inch, 75/1000ths of an inch, and then another 25 plus 75, you get 1, right? So this is going to be 100/1000ths of an inch. That's going to be 0.100, right? 100/1000ths of an inch. So that's what that line is going to be. So if we just go back, right? Let's go back to 0, right? Let's see, we're approaching it right there. So like I said, you move up 5/1000ths of an inch, move another 5, 10/1000ths of an inch, another 5, 15/1000ths of an inch, another 5, 20/1000ths of an inch, another 5, 25/1000ths of an inch, right? Hence why you see that little line right there passing up, right? And so if you go another 25, right, after you hit that 25/1000ths, go another 25, you're gonna start seeing that second line, 50/1000ths of an inch, hit another rotation, full rotation, 25. You're gonna start seeing that third line, which is 75/1000ths of an inch, boom, and hit another rotation of 25/1000ths. You're gonna see that 1 mark right there, which is gonna be 100/1000ths of an inch. So just some quick insight here. The math in machining, or the numbers and how machinists say it, is a lot different than how, well, not a lot different, but a little bit different than how regular math in school they would teach us, right? So regular math, you would know 0.1 as 1/10, right? In the machinist world, that's not 1/10, that's 100/1000ths, right? So basically the base of machinist world is based out of 1,000. So it's gonna be 100/1000ths, 10,000ths, thousands, and then a tenth, or a tenth of 1,000. A little math behind that, right? 100,000ths, that would be 100 divided by 1,000, hence 0.1. And then 10,000ths, that would be 10 divided by 1,000, so 0.01, right? Do the math. And then 1,000ths of an inch would be 1 over 1,000. That's how you get 0.001. And then a tenth would be 0.1 times 0.001. So you can take that 0.1 times 1,000. That's how you get a tenth, or a tenth of 1,000, right? On the contrary, in school, you would know it as tenths, hundreds, thousands, and then 10,000ths. That doesn't fly in the machinist world. Okay, so I'm not actually going to measure anything, but just let me go ahead and rotate the thimble, and let's see if I can get a number for you guys that we have an example here. So let me pass at least a 5 mark. Let me see, stop right there. Well, that's pretty good. All right, so I'm gonna lock it right there. Okay, so let's keep in mind that this is a 1 to 2 inch micrometer, right? So whatever reading we get right here, just know it's going to be 1 point something, but I'll leave that towards the end. So if we look at this right here, we see that it already passed the 600,000ths mark, right? So that's automatically already 0.600, right? But let's look a little deeper. So it already passed the 25,000 mark, it passed the 50,000 mark, and it passed the 75,000 mark, right? That third line right there. So it's already chasing into the 700,000 mark, which would be 0.700, right? But it's not there just yet. So since it passed the 75,000 mark, we're just going to see what value it's on the thimble here and add it to the 75,000 mark. So it passed the 5,000 mark. So we know that it's already passing 680,000, right? It was approaching the 10,000 mark here. Ignore this scale here. This is the vernier scale. That's for another micrometer. We're just looking at the thimble scale right here in the main scale. So it's gonna be approaching the 10,000 mark, but not really. So it stopped right here at the 9,000 mark. So it's basically gonna be 9 plus the 75, which is 84. So this reading right here, it's gonna be 684 thousandths, which is 0.684. So once we include the actual accuracy of this micrometer, which is 1 to 2 inches, it's it's right now it's at 1 inch. It's going to be 1.684. So 1 inch, 684 thousandths of an inch. And the scale right here, this is a vernier scale. You utilize this when the actual main scale, it stays in between, let's say, the 9 and the 10, which it didn't in this case. But this would only be accurate to a micrometer that's accurate to a 1/10 of an inch, because this is what these lines are. These are a 1/10 of a thousandth of an inch, or a 1/10 of an inch, right? In the machinist world, when you say a 1/10, they know what you're talking about. They're referring to 0.0001, right? But this micrometer is not accurate enough for that, so we just stop there. For a reading that's accurate like that, you want to use a micrometer like this, Mitutoyo. Just to give you an idea, just this single 1 to 2 inch micrometer, this one costs 160 or 170. Versus the stack of 3, I got those for 60 bucks. All right, so here it is, Mitutoyo 1 to 2 inch, right? Accurate to a 1/10 of an inch, right? So we unlock it. It has the same characteristics as the Harbor Freight one. Let's go ahead and jump over to the same measurement reading that I was at on that one. What was it? 1 inch, 684 thousandths. We already passed 1 inch, 625 thousandths. 1 inch, 650 thousandths. 1 inch and 675 thousandths, and it's supposed to be at the 9 mark, so 1 inch 684 thousandths. Let's just say that hypothetically we were measuring, let's say, a crank journal or a cam journal or something, right? Let's just say that instead of landing at the 9 mark, it landed in between the 9 and the 10, right? Let's just say that it landed like right there, right? Halfway, right? Okay, so then at this point you would be like, okay, it's an inch, 684 thousandths of an inch, not yet 85, not really 84. It's in between. So what do you do now, right? Because this is your thimble scale, this is your main scale. So now you look at the vernier scale, which is these marks right here, which is a 1/10 or a 1/10 of a thousandth of an inch. So what you'd want to do now is look at this scale here, right, and ignore these numbers here. So you're gonna ignore the thimble scale numbers here, and you're just gonna see which of these lines here matches up with this line here, and that'll be the 1/10 value that you're looking for. So you go ahead and look at the 0, right? It doesn't match up, right? You look at the 1. Let me grab this thing. You look at the 1 doesn't match up, right? Then you look at the 2 doesn't match up. You look at the 3 is close. You look at the 4, ooh. You look at the 5 is off. You look at the 6 is off. You look at the 7 is off. You look at the 8 is way off, and the 9 is off, and the 0 or the 10 is off. So the one that would match would be the 4. Look at the 4, boom, dead on, bullseye. So this new value here would now be 1.684. So that would read you 1 inch, 684 thousandths and 4/10 of an inch. So something like this would be able to give you that accurate of a reading to the 4th decimal place value, Mitutoyo. And that's basically it. That's how you measure, that's how you read a micrometer. But it depends what you're measuring. You might have to use a micrometer that's accurate to a thousandth of an inch, 3 decimal place values, or to a 1/10 of an inch, or a 1/10 of a thousandth of an inch, which would be 4 decimal place values. And well, that's just a video for you guys that I promised. The one on measuring and inspecting the crankshaft, which should be 2 videos ago. So, all right, guys, I'll see you guys back over there. Peace.